Hello, everyone. I'm Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, and it's so great to be here today. And I'm very excited to welcome Minister Kono to sit down and talk with us about all of the efforts that he is doing in Japan to be able to make sure that people have access to high quality information about vaccines and about COVID, and to also talk more about his YouTube channel. So, Minister Kono, I'm so glad to speak with you today. And to kick it off, I have wanted to present you with a gift.
Oh,
So
thank you. Wow. YouTube mask. Let me put it on. Very nice. How do I look?
great. It
Thank you.
looks very effective.
Thank you very much.
I wanted to ask you about your YouTube channel. So it gives you such a unique perspective since you are both a government official and a YouTube creator. So I wanted to hear a little bit about what types of topics you cover on your channel and who you're trying to reach, and why did you decide to start a YouTube channel in the first place?
YouTube を始めたのはもう随分、前になります。やっぱり若い世代に語りかけようとした時に、やっぱり若い世代の人たちが見ているメディアは何だろうと考えて、YouTube が一番適しているのかなと思いました。なかなか若い世代の人は政治に興味を持ってくれないんですけども、やっぱり彼らを政治の世界に引き込む、彼らにとって影響のある教育だったり、医療の問題だったり、さまざまな問題を政治が決定をするわけですから、何が議論されてどういう議論になっていて、その結果何が決まったのかということを若い世代にしっかりと伝えていきたいというふうに思いました。その時に文字で書く選択もあったのかもしれませんけども、なかなか読んでもらえていないということに気がついて、それならもう YouTube で直接語りかけるっていうことが一番いいんじゃないかなと思ってこの方法を始めました。本当に多くの人が、見てくれるので、びっくりしましたが、若い世代にと思ってましたけども、50代60代の方も結構見てくれているようで、それは驚きでした。
Well, I'm so glad you've been able to use YouTube, and I definitely think it's a great way for politicians to be able to reach out and talk to their constituents, and for them to better understand the issues, and also understand what you are working on. So I'm really glad we could be here, and I'm glad that you're a YouTube creator. And if we can ever help you with anything, and your channel, you have any questions, please let us know.
ありがとうございます。いろんなメディアがありますけども、 YouTube がこれだけ世界的に広まって世界的に成功している、その理由っていうのは何だと思いますか？
I would say some of the reasons for our global success is the fact that we offer so many different points of view, and we have so much content from so many different individuals. So when I was growing up, I remember that there were only a few channels that were available, only a handful of them. And now on YouTube, we have millions of channels, right? Like you can now have your own channel. And it enables people to have so many different points of view and see so much new types of content that otherwise we just would not have had available. And so some of those areas include areas like learning. So where we see people are using YouTube all the time to learn, especially during the pandemic. People had to learn a lot of new skills, or they took up a new hobby. And we saw lots of different ways people were learning. So we actually have a top EduTuber. That's what we call them, educational YouTubers. We have a top YouTube Haichi in Japan, who actually has 1.5 million subscribers. And he's done a lot of work with Japan's curriculum to make sure that that information is available and people can look at it on video, and a lot of times people learn information better by seeing and having a video experience. We also see so many different points of view of people who otherwise we would not have heard from, so many different underrepresented communities. So, for example, we have a creator in Japan, Kimio, who has almost 2 million subs. And he has talked a lot about growing up and some of the challenges he had when he was growing up. And he also talked about being gay and the fact that he didn't share that for a long time. And he now really encourages others to come and to talk about their backgrounds and and their differences. So YouTube really enables people to celebrate their differences, which is really powerful. And then YouTube also has a lot of comedy. People need a laugh, especially now during a lot of difficult times. So people enjoy just going to YouTube and seeing something that is funny, or the current events that are happening during the day, and current trends, music that's happening. Those are all examples of channels in YouTube that are unique and that we wouldn't have seen with traditional media. And YouTube's also global, the fact that we can do this in so many different countries. And a lot of people like to learn about other cultures too. We see that too, the ability to explore. So we have the mission to give everyone a voice and to show them the world. And YouTube can do that.
昔グーテンベルクが印刷を発明して多くの人が手軽に本を読めるようになった時代がありましたけども、今はYouTube やインターネットのおかげで誰もが情報を発信することもできるようになって、世の中が本当に変わってきたな。昔はテレビ局が選んだコメディアンが世界に発信されていきましたけども、今はもうみんなが選んでいるコメディアンだったり、みんなが選んでいる YouTuber が広がるという意味で、YouTube が本当に世界中の多くの人にその機会を与えているというのはすごいことだと思いますし、この言葉を超えて面白いものだったり感動するものが世界に広がっていくというのは、いろんなものを見てますけども、本当に小さな子供が発信していることがそれこそ何百万回もYouTube で再生されているっていうのを目の当たりにして、普遍的な価値っていうのが本当に世界にあるんだなっていうのをつくづく感じています。
We talk about YouTube as a library. It's in many ways a video library that's a public library available to anyone for free. And if you have an internet connection, then anyone can learn pretty much anything. And we see people who are all parts of the world who would never have had access to this information. They'd be able to learn new skills. And that's one of the parts of YouTube that I am most proud of and that is most important to me. So we're going to continue to invest a lot in learning on YouTube.
もちろんこの誰もが情報を発信するということは正しくない情報だったりフェイクニュースみたいなものも出されてしまうわけですけども、それを受け手の方がきちんとフェイクだということが分かるようなリテラシーというものをつけていかなきゃいけないというところでもこれから重要になってくると思いますし、流れている情報が全て正しいわけではないということを多くの人が知るという意味でもいろんな情報が自由に発信されるというのはある程度価値があるのかなと思っています。ただ受け手の側のリテラシーを上げていく努力っていうのも社会全体でやっぱりしっかりやらないといけないなというのを時々感じます。
Definitely. We have different programs to make sure, especially with young people, to help them understand all the different ways to process information on the internet and to be able to think critically. But we also, as a platform, are working really hard that when we come to sensitive information, whether it's news or medical or science, that we are raising up the high quality, trusted information. And so we're very, very focused on that to make sure that that information is available. So responsibility has been my number one priority. And we call this area of making sure that we deliver high quality information to our users responsibility because we believe it's our responsibility to do an excellent job here. If we look at COVID, for example, as soon as COVID hit, we realized that we had a really big role to play in delivering the right information to people. So we worked with many, many different health organizations around the world. We worked with over 85 different public health organizations, including the Cabinet Secretary of Japan. And YouTube served over 500 billion impressions, like over 500 billion, pieces of information for our users to make sure that they had the right information about what COVID is. We also update our policies all the time to make sure that users are, that we take down and we remove information that would be false or misleading or dangerous to our users in any way. So we updated our policy many times with regard to COVID. And at this point, we have removed almost a million videos associated just with COVID misinformation. We also want to make sure that if there's any misinformation about vaccines, that we're also removing that information. So just in the last quarter, we removed 75,000 videos for violating information about our COVID policies. And basically, like our COVID policies are focused on making sure that we are information that is agreed upon by medical professionals. So we work with many different medical experts, including the medical experts in Japan, to make sure that our information is aligned with what the local health authorities are saying. But we also ran a really big vaccine campaign. And we know that that campaign reached over 55 million people in Japan and delivered hundreds of millions of impressions. So these are the different ways that we're focused on making sure that the information that we deliver to our users is effective. And there's a lot more, but these are just some of the key ways that we're focused on it.
日本のワクチン接種を担当する大臣として、やっぱり若い人にワクチンを積極的に打ってもらうためにどうしたらいいかということを常に考えてます。日本では高齢の方はまだまだ新聞テレビで情報を取る方が多いわけですけども、もう若い人は本当に新聞テレビよりもインターネット、特に YouTube であったりTwitter であったりというメディアから情報を得る人が本当に多くなってます。そういう中でこのワクチンのフェイクニュースにいかに対抗していくかということを日々考えていかなければいけない中で日本でもYouTuber と一緒にワクチンの話だったりワクチンに関するデマの話を一緒にやらせていただいて本当に若い人にその YouTube でこうリーチアウトすることができたと思っています。おそらくアメリカでも同じようなワクチンのデマというのがあると思うんですけどもYouTube がアメリカでこうワクチンを打ってくださいというようなキャンペーンにどういう形で関わっているのかもう少し詳しく教えていただいてもいいですか？
Sure. So first of all, I definitely agree. This is a very important area for everyone to come and work together. And that's why for YouTube as a platform, we've worked very closely with governments, government officials, health authorities to make sure that we're delivering the right information to users. And we're doing that around the world, including working very closely with different health experts in Japan. And so with the vaccine, I agree that a lot of young people get their information from social media, from the internet, from YouTube. And so that's why we've been really focused and understand the responsibility and the key role that we play. And so this is why we really focused and we ran a big campaign to be able to encourage viewers to understand the vaccine, why it's valuable, why it's safe. It's also why we, whenever we see any information that contradicts what the medical authorities say, then that's information that would be often a violation of our policies and information that would be removed. And what I think is really important to continue to do is to have YouTube experts and YouTube creators continue to work with government officials or health experts or doctors to be able to explain it and to be able to counter any misinformation out there. We find that a lot of young people really trust the YouTube creators, and this is a really important way that we want to continue to work with you and with the government and with Japan to make sure that YouTube creators are working to deliver the information. But if you look up, if you do any video on YouTube about COVID, if you do any search, you'll see that we put information that comes from the different health organizations and that we're working closely with your government to make sure that that information is there and is accurate for all of our users.
若い世代の人がこう YouTuber の発信を信用するっていうのはその通りだと思います。だからこそYouTuber に積極的にワクチンについてあるいはワクチンのデマについて発信をしてもらいたいと思っていろんな YouTuber に働きかけをしているところです。
So like the interview that you did with Hajime, I think is a really great example of being able to find new ways for young people to ask their questions and to be able to and get the facts. And so I think that's a really great avenue, and we want to continue to have more experiences like that for our users to be able to see other health experts being asked questions from YouTubers who can then make sure they distribute that information to their users. We think it's very, very important. So we'll continue to work with all the different ministries and health experts in Japan to make sure that we are staying current. So if there's any new developments or any new kinds of conspiracies, that we're working together to make sure that we that's something that will make sure if it isn't with the medical consensus, that's information that we would be against our policies. We do allow people to discuss things like trials. We want to make sure that there is debate in the medical community, that the medical community can discuss new ways of solving COVID. But if the medical community knows that something will be harmful, then that's where we work together and we have policies to make sure that information isn't distributed on YouTube.
YouTube というプラットフォームの影響力を考えると非常に難しい判断を迫られる時があるんだろうと思います。明らかに間違っているインフォメーションを取り除くっていうのは必要だと思いますけども、さまざまな議論が始まったばかりの時、あるいは議論が決着をした時、どのタイミングでどういう情報を残し、どういう情報を取り除くかという、判断は非常に厳しい判断を迫られる時があるんだろうと思いますけども、やはりこれだけ影響力が大きくなった YouTube ですから、そこは科学的にもしっかりとした判断をするための努力というのを日々やられているんだろうなと思います。これからも、YouTube を頼りに情報発信を、していくこともあると思いますので、しっかりとした、努力を続けていっていただきたいと思いますし、そういうYouTube の皆さんが努力をされていることに敬意を表したいと思います。
Thank you for all of your efforts, and we agree that this is very, very important, and this is why we're so glad to continue to work with you, to work with your government, to work with the health authorities, the Cabinet Secretariat of Japan, and we'll continue to work together to make sure that users have the right information. We definitely agree that this is one of the most important things for us to do right now, and we'll make sure that we are partners to help keep everyone safe and have the right information.
最後に YouTube の10年後はどうなってますか？
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, it's interesting. YouTube isn't that old. That's one of the things to remember, that YouTube just celebrated its 50th anniversary. So 10 years would be a big increase. I can tell you that one of the most important parts for me about YouTube is the fact that it enables storytellers to tell their stories that otherwise we never would have heard. And people can share their insights, their learning, they do something, their humor, their music. And so I'm very excited about enabling the next generation of storytellers to help them make a living. So that YouTube also enables so many different ways for creators to not just share it, but also to make a living doing that. I'm excited about all those next generation media companies that will be born and that will tell their story. And I think we'll have new and different technologies over time. So right now our content, we introduce shorts, so stories being shorter, but there's also a lot of opportunities with AR and VR to be able to tell those stories in new and different ways and to have very immersive experiences going forward. And so I believe that YouTube will really be able to change in the future the way that we learn and enable people to have an education that otherwise never would have been able to learn something or have that education and connect with new people in new and different ways, as well as tell stories that otherwise just would have not existed, and to bring those beautiful and interesting and very important stories to light and do so with the newest technology. So those are some of the things that I'm excited about at YouTube.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you so much. Thank you. I learned a lot about your approaches, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work with you on information about COVID, about storytellers in Japan, digital transformation. So thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to more work together.
これからもどうぞよろしくお願いします。一緒にコロナをやっつけるために戦っていきましょう。
We'll continue to work together.